Okay, so I haven't made a video in quite a while, which, sorry for that, I have been meaning to, but in Australia, school's just gone back and I've been pretty busy with all that. I had meant to make a video on that, my Olympia SG3, and I actually did, but it was just too long. I don't ramble too much, and unfortunately, I don't know when I'll get to that now because I just got this, and this is taking up 100% of my time at the moment. So this is my current project. This is a 1968 Adler Universal 39, made famous by Stanley Kubrick or Stephen King's The Shining, but Stanley Kubrick's film. It's an amazing machine. Already, I love it. It's got so many good features. Just overall, just the build quality and the ease of access to everything. It's just really, really well made. So I bought this machine ages ago, back in January, and it was in another state to me, and the seller didn't want to ship it, so I ended up getting a relative to go pick it up, and then they got it shipped down with a courier I should say, which was a bit nerve-wracking, and it ended up taking ages to come, and that turned out apparently there was a packaging discrepancy or something like that, which I was a bit worried because I assumed it meant the box had torn. But anyhow, they repackaged it and it arrived, but when it did arrive, these bars were sticking exposed from the box. They'd torn through, and it turned out this knob was shattered, like in heaps of pieces. As you can see, I've glued the main bit back together, and that seems to be holding up alright, but I am missing a chunk of the piece in there, but I don't think it should be too much of an issue because I have got the majority of that piece, and you can't really notice it, but I'm just a bit more worried about the structure. And then there is a piece that's supposed to be covering the end here, which I have got the pieces for in that bag there, or most of them, so I'll try to cover that up eventually. I've just been slathering on super glue, trying to get this to be as solid as possible. So you can see these pieces here are a bit cracked, so they're missing a few chunks of plastic. You've got your pressure release, that was all working. Then over here, this is your platen ratchet thing, freer up, you know what I'm trying to say, like clicks, then rolls freely. That wasn't broken, but it was bent over completely on itself, like it was, like you could barely kind of move it. Got your line spacing, that still works fine. So you've got 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. Yeah, the platen all works fine. It's pretty worn out, as you can see. It's not in the best condition. Something I wasn't aware of is I thought this was all just dirt when I looked at the listing, but it turns out this typewriter has actually got a fair bit of corrosion, and especially inside there's actually a bit of rust. But I've managed to clean a fair bit of that off. So then you got the cover here. Now I'm not sure if this was original or not, but the logo was completely white, like just the colour. This is metal, by the way, I think, but you can see the logo stuff is like a layer of plastic over the top, and it was all white. So I got some paint and repainted that black, mainly because I got this typewriter due to its connection to The Shining, and the one in The Shining has a black logo, and I wanted it to look as much like that as I could. Inside, got pretty standard segment. It is segment shift, which is nice. Shift lock, margin release, backspace. Everything works pretty well. This is one of the features that this has over the Universal 20, which is character spacing. You've got 1 or 2. You can kind of see on 1, moves just 1 space. On 2, moves 2. It's a bit hard to see without anything in. You've got your ribbon color selector. So you've got black, red, or stencil, which is like the middle, which doesn't lift the ribbon vibrator at all, and then red lifts it like that. Then you've got your card guides up here. I was having a lot of trouble with these because they were getting stuck on the ribbon vibrator. And I've had a fair bit of trouble with the ribbon vibrator itself. The mechanism in here is a bit dodgy and hard to reach, and there's a linkage that keeps coming undone, so I'll need to try to figure out how to get that a bit more reliable. But as you can see, it's working at the moment. One big issue I've got, if I move this margin out of the way, is the carriage. It's a little bit, just the tiniest bit shaky. And you can see this bit here, it was completely bent down. This was completely cracked, by the way, like it was hanging down. When that gets past here, it gets stuck. I've almost fixed it, but just not quite. So I'll need to work on that. Pretty normal ribbon spools, really nice, easy to put a new ribbon on. You just lift out the arms like that, chuck the spool on through there, and then this is I jam it up. This is really easy. You just kind of tuck it under, then behind these two, tuck it under, and then the same on this side. Ribbon reverse, all still working. Yeah, everything's pretty much working on this. Then you've got your temporary release. You push that one in, and that frees up the platen. Really, everything, if this wasn't shipped and didn't get damaged, it'd all be working fine. But unfortunately, it did get shipped and it did get damaged. So it is quite a bit of a job at the moment. You got your paper stand. I'll show you how to take the carriage off, and then I'll show you what's under all that. So it's a pretty simple process to take the carriage off this machine. The reason I'm making this already before this is already done up is because this machine is rare, and I mean really, really rare. This is the only one I've seen for sale that was legitimate. I did buy one of these ages ago, but it turned out the guy was trying to scam me. That was pretty disappointing. But so there is one video on the Universal 20 on YouTube, which is really good. I forget the name of the person who made it, but it's a really good video. Although it is quite old, so the quality isn't the best. But it's of a German Universal 20, and I'm getting a Universal 20 tonight, which is in near mint condition. It has the manual, spare ribbon, cleaning set. I'm stoked. I'm really excited. So I'm not too worried about this one not being perfect, because this one I'm getting tonight should be. But anyway, so to take the carriage off, you loosen off these little thumb wheels here. So they're like little screws. They're on both sides. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, as you expect. So you just loosen them off. And they will screw out completely if you wanted to, but it's better not to. It's not needed to take the carriage off. So my desk is a mess at the moment. I've got so much going on. I really need a better workspace, but that's all I've got at the moment. And then you just basically grab, I'd say by the rods, the metal rods, because they come out too. Just pick it up and just take it out like that. And that's the carriage off. So you've got your drawer band and everything all attached, so you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry too much about that snapping. The drawer band didn't have much tension on it when I got it, so I had to reattach that, but that's done. Okay, so now we can have a look at the interior of the machine, and come on, how nice is this? It's still pretty dirty. I've cleaned it a fair, it's not too much coming off it. It's actually a bit cleaner than I thought. I have tried to clean this as much as I can. This is where my knowledge of typewriters starts to get a bit hazy. I'm still getting my head around how the escapement and everything works, but basically I think this pulls and releases the star wheel. This is where the carriage, the drawer band wheel goes in. There's your thumb screws you have to loosen, and you've got the serial number here. I haven't checked out this machine, but I'm going to assume that 8 means 1968, plus this is just, I'm pretty sure this is the only year it could be. I think there's a 1965 Adler Universal 39, which looks a bit different. Anyways, over here, you've got your plus and your minus. This is the key tension. So you can definitely feel a bit of a difference on that. I'm just trying to think how many positions it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. Yeah, 4 positions, I believe. In here, you've got your tab functions. They were a bit dodgy when I first got it, so I've tried to clean them up, and it seems to be working all right now. So to take the rest of the body off, you take out 4 screws, which I've already done, because I haven't screwed this back on since I got it, because there's the screws there and the washers. Because I've been working on this, I haven't really had the body on. So you take out these screws completely. So you can see there, they're pretty long. They're pretty easy to use though. Just unscrew both of them. So they just come out like that. And then the body basically just lifts off. So you've got that just comes straight off. This was in really good nick. Oh, not good nick, I should say. It was pretty rough, but I mean, there's no cracks or anything. So it's got the old sticker on there, which is always nice. Yeah, so a few paint chips, and it's very yellowed. That's the one thing about this machine. It's extremely yellowed, but I've cleaned it up as well as I could, and I think putting the black paint kind of gives it a bit of life again. It looked pretty dead. I'll try and maybe insert a photo if I can of what it looked like. But it just looked dirty, and it didn't look like anything too special, whereas now it's got a bit of life back into it. And so here you have a very stripped down Adler Universal 39. So this is your color selector here. And this is one thing that I don't know why, but I really appreciate. These things, they move like this. They're like a bit wobbly. And at first I thought that was weird, but when you're trying to put the cover back on, it can be hard to line them all up. So you can just stick your finger in and just move them a little bit to get them back into place. This piece of bodywork here, I have taken off and cleaned. I can't really be bothered taking it back off again because I've screwed that all back in, and it took a bit of adjusting to get it back in the right spot. Then all of this was covered in rust. This was just absolutely revolting. I was actually a bit worried when I opened this up and saw how much rust was in here. You can still see there's a bit around, which is never a good thing with typewriters, but I'm cleaning it up as well as I can. I just used some steel wool on this, and it looks terrible probably if you haven't seen how it was, but it's a big improvement. And here's your serial number again, except I've noticed this serial number, it doesn't have the 8 at the front that this one does, which is kind of interesting. So you got your chassis basically, your space bar. This was all rusted under here. Then you've got your feet, so they're metal or chrome with a bit of rubber on the bottom. There's not too much to show on the back really. It's all just pretty much the same. I've also got this piece, which I feel like personally I think is quite iconic. The big back cover of the carriage, which I took off so I could work on the tabs and the margins and all that, and I probably won't put it back on again until I've finished working on it. So something I find kind of interesting about this one is I'm used to the tabs, I'm used to seeing them pop up to make a tab stop, but on these they actually go down and that sets the tab, which to me is a bit unusual. And you've got your margins, usual push and slide. Works all pretty well. A little bit stiff, just due to age. You've got your paper guide and everything. So overall, you've got your it came with a cover which got pretty badly ripped in shipping, so I'll have to try to stitch that back up. You got your paper bale here too. I took that off so I could clean it. And it has these interesting little rollers, which I'll show more. I will do a full video on this once I get it working again properly. They're quite interesting little rollers. They're not round, they kind of are little wheels. But yeah, it also came with a ribbon, which is still very not dry. It still works really well. But I think that's all I've really got to show on this for the moment. Also, I thought I'd show a Typeface specimen or sample. Obviously, it'd be a sin not to do all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's a really nice Typeface. It's pica, I believe, although the shift key's a bit misaligned. You can see it's just slightly high. But the actual print's pretty good. I think the K is a little bit damaged at the top there. It's missing a tiny little bit. But yeah, overall, it's a really nice print. It's just a work in progress. It might take me a bit of time to get it all working properly again. The main issue I've got at the moment is this bit here, oh sorry, on that side, catching. If I get that all fixed up, I think it should work pretty much fine, honestly. But yeah, and then there's a few of these keys, which are really, well, that's actually, it's not too bad now. But some of these keys are really slow and sticky, and I've flushed them with mineral spirits, but they just don't, see, these are all fine. There's just a few up here. They suddenly seem okay now that I'm filming, but it's like there's a bit of rust or something in here. And these were really rusty too, so I've tried to clean these keys as well as I could. But yeah, I also tried to clean the actual typefaces themselves. So they still look a bit dirty, but they're a massive improvement from what they were. So that's the first video on the Universal 39. This will probably be a bit of a, it won't be a series, but I might give updates depending on how long it's taken me. Or I'm really hoping next video I make might be this fully functioning. I want to put more videos out on these Adlers because there's not much info on them at all. You look them up and there's like one video of, it's in French, of someone changing the ribbon on an Adler Universal. There's one video of someone in German on a Adler Universal 40. And then there's one video of someone working on a German Universal 20, and that's really about it. And Dr. Typewriter has a video about the escapement of one, but that's all he talks about. He doesn't talk about anything else. So, yeah, but anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll post another video on this soon.